Hi, I'm Michelle Brain and I am the Midwife Hypnotist. And today we're just talking about ways that, that the hospitals use for induction. So if you are offered an induction, it doesn't always go down to the Synto drip, although some hospitals actually break your waters and start there. So these are ideas of what happens. I work all over Australia. I fly all over Australia working as a midwife, and so these will give you some ideas. But often if you're offered a induction, first off they will just do a stretch and sweep. So put the two fingers into your cervix or one finger, whatever they can reach, fit, and stretch it, and then sweep. Run their fingers around the inside to irritate basically the cervix, and often that can send you into labour if you're ready. If you're not ready, it won't. Now, after that, then there would be, you could be offered some gel. The gel's put into the vagina right up behind the cervix, and it's prostaglandin, and that's there to ripen the cervix. So if the cervix isn't ready, they want it to be ready, they put the prostaglandin in there, and that will soften it and get it ready to birth, because often if the baby's not ready, the cervix isn't ready, and so they're going to try and make it ready with gel. And you might have 2 lots of that over 24 hours. So that's the first, usually the first line, or a catheter, which is a balloon that's put in that's irritating again. So it's irritating the cervix to say, come on, come on, come on, come on. So of course this is just the easy explanation for induction. We're not going into great detail, because if you want great detail, then you can have a read. So after the catheters, then you could just have your waters broken. They may well say, we'll just break your waters. Now they could do that, especially with a 3rd or 4th baby. They'll just break your water and wait for you to go into labour. Now you could ask for that. If you need an induction, you could say, well, no, break my water. That's okay, I'm happy to have that, and just give me 4 or 6 or 12 hours to go into labour. And you get moving, walking around, and try and let your body go into labour. Now, after that, then we're talking a syntocin drip, which is titrated so that it drips into fluids and goes in. It's turned up supposedly until you have regular contractions. Now, I often see this done, and I often see it not turned. People are regularly contracting and they still don't stop it. So it's one of those things that if you're having regular contractions, then let's turn it down, let's turn it off, let's adjust it. But they will just keep going. And some doctors, and I've heard this over and over and over again, oh, just turn it up and get that baby out. So keep it going. So it's something to question, and it's something that you need to be aware of. And like I said, if anyone wants to follow up this conversation, please, please, please contact me. More than happy to do a one-on-one, explain it in detail, so that you know when you go in what you can question. And don't forget reading your Ames book or Induction Matters by Dr. Rachel Reed, so that you have all the information that you need when you go in. And don't forget, if you have that syntocin drip on top of this being concentrated, so, the idea is to get everything working really quick and baby out. Often, which means women would have an epidural. In fact, doctors almost insist on having an epidural. Oh, look, if you're having the syntocin drip, you might as well have the epidural now, because you're going to need it. That's what they'll say often. So remember that if you have the syntocin drip, that you will have your waters broken, and you will have a CTG attached to you. So now some have wireless ones, but it means that you will be monitored the entire time. You also have a drip in your arm, so your movement can be restricted, and that's really noticeable when you see someone who labours naturally and somebody who is being induced. The difference in trying to move around with this drip, carrying it everywhere, and especially if they don't have the CTGs, that don't have the cords, well, of course, you're restricted 100 times more. And I know some of the places I've worked, they don't have the the Wi-Fi ones, so they're constant, they've got 6 cords on them everywhere. So what do the women do? They sit in bed because they're going, this is too hard. And what happens when you sit in bed? Baby doesn't move, doesn't help you, you're not moving, so Bub's head is sort of just getting stuck there. You're not helping it move through because you're not moving, and of course then we end up emergency seizures, baby gets distressed. So please, please, please read the Ames book, read Dr. Rachel Reed's Induction Matters, and know if you're going for an induction, know why you're having it, know what the consequences are, know what the risks are. What's the evidence say? What does the evidence say? Ask them. And what are the consequences of that? So if you'd like to catch up with me on Facebook or on Zoom, because you're not sure, you don't know where to go, you're feeling that you're being pressured into this, just contact me. More than happy to help out. And that's about it for induction. So be informed. It's your right to have an induction. If that's what you want, by all means, it's up to you. It's your body, it's your baby, but just understand the consequences of having an induction. Because at the end of it, having a traumatic birth is something that as a midwife, it just absolutely just kills a part of me inside to see somebody go through so much trauma. So if we can avoid that, that would be lovely. Check out my website, michellebrain.com, and don't forget to have a look at Birthing in Trance. This is a combination of videos and MP3s teaching women how to go into trance, how to talk to their body. And the best thing about these is you can talk to your baby. You can suggest that it's time to be born, because your 42 weeks in the hospital is going to interfere. So the safest option would be to go into labour naturally. Put yourself in a trance, tell your baby that. Talk to your unconscious and allow yourself to go into labour naturally. Birthing in trance.com.